Hey everybody, welcome to my first STB1 replay. I got this thing just the other day. I've only played a couple games in it so far. All but two of them pretty much have been shit, and all but one of them have been losses. But that's just how things roll when you play mostly on NA West. The tank itself is absolutely excellent. It's everything I've been hoping for. It's mobile, it's got a good gun, it's flexible. You know, it doesn't really have much armor, but you're a medium, you don't need armor. Armor's a crutch for bad players. So here I am in a platoon with Rothmog and Evil Hobo, and we've ended up on the south spawn of Tundra. Tundra is an okay map. I'm not really a big fan of it, but it's not absolutely terrible. Most of the time in my mediums I tend to head to this little village here, no matter which side of the map I spawn on. Hill is a viable option, but I really didn't want to chance it, especially with a bunch of enemy light tanks and a Patton and 4202 to contend with. I wanted to try and own this little village over here, especially since Evil Hobo is going to cover the hill anyway, and typically pubbies leave this lane wide open. So right away we spotted some tanks. The Waffenträger is a big concern, and unfortunately my accuracy is a bit off. The STB has pretty serious gun bloom issues, but if you actually let it aim in, its accuracy is alright. The gun is, of course, a Japanese copy of the L7A1. It's a really good gun. The main strength of the STB, other than having 10 degrees of gun depression, is being relatively small, relatively mobile, and having just a good all-round flexibility. You have enough camo to be stealthy, you have enough armor to sometimes bounce things, enough gun depression to shoot wherever you want, and the gun will pen just about anything. It's pretty much what the Leopard really wanted to be. Don't get me wrong, the Leopard's an excellent tank, and certainly has advantages this doesn't, but the Leopard is also extremely soft and tends not to hold up too well in pub matches. The STB is just that little bit more survivable, which I think is pretty important in a pub match. So while the Leopard might be a bit better for bringing to clan wars, the STB is probably better for pubs. I think there is a DPM difference as well. I can't recall what it is, but I'm pretty sure the STB has a bit more than the Leopard. The STB actually had the highest DPM of any tier 10 medium until the 430, but got buffed recently. Or actually, it wasn't even recently, it was a while ago now. So the enemy T-71 is harassing me, while the Waffenträger chases me around in circles like an idiot. Instead of just cutting across and driving straight up to me, he instead elects to follow the path I take exactly, which lets me kite him around in circles, and then run for the support of my team. Now, I was hoping to get some shots on him myself here, but this isn't really ideal terrain for fighting a Waffenträger. I can use the buildings as cover a lot, but if he gets close, he's just going to roll up on me. Instead, the Jagdpanther 2 presents itself and gets a shot through its front plate. I could take some shots at the Waffenträger, but again, the STB doesn't have the best armor. Its turret will bounce things, but I don't want to chance it against that. It's too much of a risk. The Waffenträger can clean me up easily if he figures out how to pen me. Instead, I scoot down this flank here, which has already been mostly cleaned up by Rothmog. And while he pushes through the wrecks, I scoot up and get some shots on the IS-3. My first one is badly aimed. It's just poorly angled. You can imagine where that hit, the angle I was at, remembering that this triangle here is just storage space. This is sheet steel here, not armor. So this is the actual armor plate, and it came in from the front and then just hit that. It would have bounced straight down behind his tracks and into the ground. So that's why that did nothing to him. But it doesn't matter anyway, because I just scoot straight past him, but the 54E1 gets a shot in before I do. The Waffenträger is distracted. I don't load HE, I just stay with the APCR, because the back of a Waffenträger's turret is not something you want to shoot, or gun shield I suppose, is not something you want to shoot HE at. The crew hitboxes will absorb the splash damage. It's really inconsistent, and you don't want to be doing that. So you may as well just keep your regular rounds loaded and have guaranteed damage rather than risk doing nothing, just on the hope that you get a little bit higher damage rolls. The last vestige of enemy resistance really is this mouse, who has been inexplicably in the river doing dumb shit all game. I don't know why he came down here. Another poorly angled shot there, but as he turns his turret to try and hit the T-71, I get a much better angle. I was hoping to finish off the 4202, but unfortunately he decided to feed his hit points to the ST1. And so that shot on the mouse was the last damage I got in the whole game. In fact, it's not the ST1 which got shots on the 4202, it was the T-57 off the ST1's spotting. So for a first replay in this tank, just shy of 3k damage, I'll take it. It was a pretty quick game, pretty cruisy. The enemy did get kind of shafted, they had a lot of shitters, but so did our team. Really, I don't know why they were saying Matchmaker was rigged. Between myself, Evil Hobo, and Rothmog, that was basically the only advantage our team had. Otherwise, we had about the same number of reds and yellows and pale greens as they did, so I don't know. Probably somebody with the XVM win chance turned on and looked at it and just flipped out when they saw it, but I think a lot of people put way too much stock in it. So, what do I think of the STB so far? I think it is a very, very nice medium. Probably one of the best in the higher tiers. It's just a good sort of generalist. It's not the most mobile, it's not the most accurate, it's not the best armoured, and it's certainly not the highest DPM anymore, but it does everything well, and it doesn't really do anything particularly poorly. I think it's middle of the pack for a lot of stats. In terms of speed, it's not quite as fast as some of the Soviet mediums, but it's faster than a Patton. Its camouflage isn't quite as good as an Object 430, but it's better than an E50M. It really does tend to fall in the middle as far as all stats go, except for its gun depression, which of course is the best at tier 10, tied with numerous British and American tanks. So I think it's a pretty fun vehicle. I can certainly see why it was so popular when it first came out. I only wish that I'd been able to get it earlier. But now that I actually do have it, hopefully I'll be able to get in a lot more matches in it and be able to put up some more gameplay. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.